Seven great movies depicting small-town America. There is no doubt about the fact that rural America is shrinking. The Fourth Industrial Revolution and the changes brought to the world, technology advances in every field of production, the decline of manufacturing, the inevitable automation of agriculture, fishing, and forestry, and a decrease in the necessity of human intervention in those fields, accelerated migration from rural to urban areas.
You know, I seen a school of sharks tear a boat to pieces like it was made of cardboard because some kid threw a Band-Aid in the water.
Oh yeah.
Most of the nation's smaller urban and rural counties are not growing and will not grow, as the population shifts to the cities. Small towns are getting more and more deserted, and some of them are on the verge of disappearing completely. And just like in real life, the small town America is also quietly vanishing in the movies. And that marks the fall of a great film community, as the best films set in small, rural areas create such a realistic atmosphere that the towns themselves practically become full-fledged characters. So let's take a look at 7 films that capture America's nostalgia for small-town vibes and tell the story that could not be conceived anywhere outside of the rural heart of the country.
Where'd you learn that?
From my father.
What's Eating Gilbert Grape? The movie is set in the fictional town of Endora, Iowa, and captures the spirit of living in a small Midwestern town perfectly. It marks one of the early career performances of 2 superstars, Johnny Depp, who plays the protagonist Gilbert Grape, a youngster trying to escape the unwanted small-town life, and Leonardo DiCaprio, whose heart-wrenching performance as Gilbert's brain-damaged brother makes the movie a must-see.
I reviewed your file. You've got no major medical insurance. No catastrophic.
The exceptional chemistry between the 2 actors and the isolated and quaint background of Endora create a unique palette for the inescapable desperation of being a young man in the middle of nowhere and not able to leave. U-Turn. The reason why I personally miss the 90s in cinema is partially because it was the golden age for movies like this, Sean Penn and Jennifer Lopez starrer. Hollywood was incomparably more open to risk-taking, and that resulted with an array of oddball, flawed gems like U-Turn. With a superb cast, Billy Bob Thornton as the hellish car mechanic deserves a separate mention, surreal narrative, and lots of Dutch angles in the setting of that rural, unwelcoming small town in Arizona.
Good. God help me, I'm gonna break you in half.
Oh, easy, Chief, easy. I was just helping out your wife. We met in town. I was just giving her a hand with the drapes. That's all.
Like most of its kindred movies, it is hard to put a finger on what it is particular that this Oliver Stone movie is about, or what its message is, if anything, like that was implied at all. But it is one hell of a fun ride, and a worthy adventure for anyone who is still after that hypnotic Twin Peaks feeling, with the sauce of the good old violent Americana. Nebraska. An homage to the Italian neorealist movement, this 2013 Oscar-nominated film accomplishes the hard task of showing the bleak reality of rural middle America through an unsentimental, yet very humane lens.
You hear that, Dad? We won't be making Lincoln by Friday.
We have till Monday.
We're gonna take you back home.
Nebraska is more structured like a road trip film, but one that explores the other, grim side of the American dream, and the people growing up and getting old in it. Everyone in Nebraska is either trying to escape the Midwestern small-town blues, or has long accepted living in it, and Bruce Dern gives a magnificent performance of the latter, masterfully depicting what growing old looks like in a place that quietly robs you of any dreams and aspirations in life. Manchester by the Sea. There is no doubt that by filming this Oscar-winning drama, Kenneth Lonergan created one of the most raw films of the decade.
Do you want to stay for dinner? I think Sandy's mother likes you.
No, she doesn't.
I happen to know that she does.
The film depicts the pain of loss and family tragedy in the same straightforward, blunt way as its protagonist Lee Chandler tries to deal with his past, deliberately avoiding being stylish or glossy, as it offers us an unapologetic view of trauma and grief, communicated through the setting of that gray and cold coastal New England settlement that became world famous soon after the film was released.
I have to get up to Manchester. Nobody told Patrick, right?
No, you had asked for us to wait for you to get here.
The Straight Story. From the array of genres and styles that David Lynch is known to mix in his films, This is without a doubt the most straight and plain movie that he has ever directed. This simplicity, however, only makes the film better. The straight story is about an old man whose health is deteriorating daily, taking a long road trip on a lawnmower to reconnect with his brother, who lives in another state. It is a journey story, but every participant will perceive that journey his own way. For Alvin, the 73-year-old protagonist, it's the last journey to reflect on his long life and finally make things right with his brother.
Listen to that old grain elevator.
It's a harvest time.
For Richard Farnsworth, it marks his final role in his journey as an actor, and boy, what a magnificent job he does. Age 79, delivering what's forever cemented as one of the best performances on screen. For viewers, it's an hour and something meditation on the real story of Alvin Straight's odyssey through the sleepy towns and rural districts of the Midwest, with all its sinners and saints, seen one final time through the eyes of a man who has seen it all. The Straight story really stands out as a very heartwarming film and a worthy ride.
I'd fire into it. Sometime it was just a movement in the woods.
It's a Wonderful Life. For a heartwarming holiday favorite, It's a Wonderful Life is full of very serious pressing problems of the early urbanization era. The first image seen in the film is a road sign saying, "You are now in Bedford Falls," and everything that comes after is viewed from the prism of living in a small town, which some of the residents are desperately trying to escape. George Bailey, a man with big dreams about seeing the world, continually forsakes his own desires to do that, and to do what is right for the town, which is in danger of becoming Pottersville and being run by a corrupt megalomaniac.
Look, Daddy, teacher says every time a bell rings, an angel gets his wings.
That's right.
Besides being a universal Christmas movie, it's amazing how the film's basic premise of redemption and good winning over greed stays topical and resonant in 21st century America. Fargo. It should be no surprise that the Coen brothers' 1996 masterpiece is the one that closes our list. No film has ever succeeded in making the everyday small town routine so cinematic, and Fargo captures that from the first second. It turns something as simple and mundane as a car towing a roll-up trailer down a snowy road into a frightening and ominous spectacle.
They were darn clear on that, Wade. They said, you call your cops, and we're gonna shoot.
Of course they're gonna say that.
From there on, every scene and character in the film is a tiny piece of the Northern Americana. Margie's telephone rings at 3 a.m., and she puts on her police uniform to go out into the Minnesota winter. Her husband wakes up with her to make her some eggs. We see them eating silently at a small table in the kitchen. She leaves, only to come back to tell her husband that her car needs a jump start. The whole mosaic of Fargo is assembled with recognizable pieces like that, embroidered on the blinding white backdrop of ceaseless snow that is almost a separate character in the artistic segues between the scenes.
Wade's got a point there. I'll handle the call if you want, Jerry.
No, they only deal with me.
The Scandinavian, Canadian, American accents and the lines like "ye darn tootin" imprint the characters deeper in the viewer's minds, and everything about Fargo seems just as authentic. Every character is genuine, believable, and at the same time with a shade of the bizarre, as no other movie has captured the simplicity of good and the banality of bad through its characters so well. Even by the Coen brothers' high standards, Fargo is a very special movie.